You're never a 9 to 5 guy. Only once you've done it. Dulu banget.
And I hate it.
I know you did. Then
Yeah.
it's so weird karena you know that signing up for Smesco, that was a part of the job.
Gue udah disclaimer dulu. Gue bilang, Pak, saya nggak pernah kerja sama orang lain.
Budaya itu bukan diubah, tapi dipercantik untuk diperkenalkan secara global.
No, I said ngarang.
Leo, I'm trying to...
You know the sour grape guy?
Oh
By the
yeah,
FBI?
of course.
Yes.
What, you met him?
Met him.
No, you didn't.
I did. This is my POV ya.
Yeah.
Gue cuma bilang sama dia, you're my hero.
Can I ask you something a bit sensitive?
Boleh.
Was there any moment working with crooks?
Welcome to the Friday Podcast, a melting pot of all ideas and stories. Whether it's the resilience behind a punchline, the humanity behind a policy, or the spark that fuels a masterpiece. In our studio, we pull back the curtain and explore the other side of every story. Because here at the Friday Podcast, we talk, you listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your host, E.S. Lawrence. I've known my guest from the first day I've made this podcast. Dan setelah 7 tahun, here we are with the man himself yang untuk seseorang yang menjalankan kehidupannya secara kreatif dan gak bisa diem dari dulu.
Yeah.
Okay, I will always remember this. The last time we had a conversation, a sit down, adalah di sebuah ruangan di gedung Smesco dengan ruangan tulisannya Leonard Theo Sabrata, kursi DPR-nya. It was a very, very weird sight.
Right.
And it's a very weird sight juga sekarang bahwa he doesn't have a drink on his hand.
Yeah.
Leo, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. There's so many things to talk about. Then I want to start this way. I want to start about something that I don't actually know gitu. Yaitu I want to talk about growing up.
Growing up.
Let's
Okay.
in a nutshell, what was it like?
Yeah.
And I believe this was in the 1930s. So go
Yeah,
ahead.
Right. We have to hark back really long. Yeah.
Really
Yeah,
long. Yeah. Go Renaissance era.
I'm a 90s kid.
90s kid.
I grew up in West Jakarta, which is, there's a funny story. I met this guy with a friend of mine. I think it was during Bright Spot in Plaza Senayan.
Okay.
And then these two guys, they look like bouncers, man. You know,
Who are we talking about?
Yeah, you know, they look rough, right? Tattoos and shit. And then I was like, yeah, I want to keep my cool, blah, blah, blah. And then we start talking, and then I kind of mentioned where I grew up, and all of a sudden they lit up. Their eyes lit up. And I was like, wah, lu gede di Kapling Pori, di Jelambar, wah bro. You know, and so he knew that was rough, you know. So I grew up, you know, like fighting kids and like, you know, every setelah sore-sore pasti keliling komplek naik sepeda terus pulang jam 5 sebelum maghrib makan somai gitu kan. And that's my routine gitu kan. And it's a very it's a lot of pendatang gitu kan dari mana-mana. Jadi ya it's a melting pot. Great food as
Of
always,
course, yeah.
where there's a melting pot, right? But yeah, it was kind of rough, you know. Like I think growing up in the 90s, you kind of have to be able to toughen up a bit, and that sure happened like about not too long ago. I got in a street fight at this fucking age, you know.
No way.
Bloody nose, you know, like ping pong size, whatever, with this foreigner guy.
Dude, aren't you too old for that shit?
I am, but I can't change
The roots.
No, it's just like that's how my dad grew up, and he was rough. I'm probably like 50% of who he is,
Yeah.
but still, and my wife, Irene,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course, yang paling kayak,
Very lovely.
like wah, gila lu ya, lu umur segini gitu kan.
Yeah.
And then I realized kayak like, iya, tapi gimana ya gitu, and like I know I need to change gitu.
Yeah.
But I think speaking of growing up, this is something that I have 3 kids, gitu, and I kind of wonder sometimes. I have 2 boys, gitu, like,
Wow.
wow, their life is very comfortable.
No, you can't. Comfortable is an understatement
Like
of what
kayak,
you give them.
I have a hashtag now, like I just created for Irene gitu kan. Everyday Michelin star, right?
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I was like kayak gila sih anak-anak gue sih. Wah, tai lah pokoknya mereka so privileged. Tiap hari makan kayak Michelin star gitu kan.
Do you spoil them?
I do.
You
I
just
do.
got back from Japan.
Yes, looking for universities for the boy gitu kan. He's already 17 now. Time flies so fast. And then
No, he's not 17.
17 bro.
Just
17 aja.
last year they were hopping on
Aduh,
your.
kagak makanya. I was like kayak jadi and then I was talking to my friend who's like 55 and he's like, you know, I never feel my age and I'm like the same way. So growing up, I think we stopped, especially boys. I think we stopped high school kali ya, and we're the same people essentially, gitu kan.
Until you find the right person that can stop you doing silly things. In this case, maybe Irene.
Iya, tapi kayaknya juga deep down lu masih sama. Gitu.
Yeah.
You're still that punk, gitu kan. You're still that
Asshole.
guy, that asshole, gitu kan. Yang kayak, aduh, gimana ya, gitu kan. Liking the same music, gitu kan. Kayak susah berubah.
True.
Blah blah blah. Tapi at the same time, you have more responsibilities. I think that's where it's different. It's just you step up to your responsibilities and then you kind of man up, own it, whatever.
Yeah.
Ya, cuman gue ngelihatnya ya itulah bedanya generasi gitu. I mean like it's the way you grow up.
Yeah.
And if you grow up in a certain situation, ya jadinya gimana? It's not their fault, blah blah blah. And I can understand gitu kayak misalnya not relevant anymore talking about millennials now. I think right now everybody's talking about Gen Z.
True.
And I kind of put my hope in them because they look up to the 90s kid. And just going kayak, wah, ini ada kesempatan bisa save the generation again, gitu kan? Like they love analog stuff again, blah blah blah, and they're smart as hell.
True.
And also the generation after that, which is like, let's say my youngest daughter, who's 10 now, who can actually converse and also debate with me, gitu kan? Malah gue kalah gitu kadang-kadang sama dia kayak dia bisa ngomong kayak begitu gitu kayak gimana lah. It's like so jadi ya again talking about growing up it's a fun process that I think everybody has to they have to enjoy gitu maksudnya. Karena ya momennya segitu doang.
Were you? Yeah, true. Oh, benar. Momennya emang segitu doang.
Segitu doang.
There's no more, there's no less, and yeah. Were you in an environment di mana it was kental dengan Asian culture dan lo dituntun untuk pekerjaan tertentu? Was there part of that?
Of course. Tapi enggak sih. Sebetulnya my parents they're busy. They're busy at work gitu kan. Jadi we kinda left alone gitu kan. And given kind of freedom juga sih kalau gue ingat-ingat lagi. I was never actually dituntut ini itu gitu ya adalah kayak les ini les itu gitu kan tapi I don't think they actually care.
You've always been into drawing.
I've always
music,
been into drawing, music. I think SMP baru mulai musik gitu kan. Started with heavy metal, and then eventually masuk ke Pearl Jam, Nirvana, and so on gitu kan. Weezer, terus then stuck gitu kan. For me, I think. Gak pernah terlalu gimana, cuman justru mungkin karena gak dituntut, akhirnya kan we were looking for something that we love, and then we kind of hang on to it, and for me that was music.
Got it.
Gitu loh, yang kayak benar-benar. Nah ini yang kata-kata passion ini yang I try to instill to my kids. Gimana caranya mereka bisa sampai dapetin passionnya mereka gitu. It's the process to discover your passion gitu. I don't care what it is, and it may change. When you grow up gitu kan pastilah ya. Tapi ngerasain gimana rasanya lu nggak bisa tidur karena you were so into that whatever it is that you're into it. Gitu. Jadi
well, you basically turned everything to a reality.
Yes, I did.
Not a lot of people have that ability.
Gue pada dasarnya bosenan. Jadi I'm always in the process when I created the self-made industry makerspace. That's when I was being very honest with myself. Itu tuh ada satu masa, gue kayak ngerasa, shit apa nih gitu ya. Kayak kok udah mencapai ini itu segala macam, tapi gue belum merasa kayak masih belum puas gitu. Ya kan, malah jadi kayak semi depressed gitu. Kayak like, oh gini doang nih.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm sure if I ask you, maybe if you don't want to talk about it now, but after 7 tahun lu juga pasti enak bikin podcast, ya kan?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Ada fase itu.
ada fase.
Yeah.
And at the time gue juga nanya sama teman-teman gue yang the who's who di bidangnya gitu
Yeah.
kan. Ya semua juga udah mau gantung diri gitu.
But I would never realize that you would end up where you end up right now, Leo.
Where am I now?
Well, in the government.
Again, I think it was I rise to challenges, and it was another challenge that I was presented to gitu.
Yeah.
Jadi akhirnya, oh boleh gitu ya, kenapa enggak? Jalur ini gue udah pernah, jalur ini gue udah pernah.
Jalur
oh
dalam
jalur ini
belum.
belum pernah nih gitu ya kan?
I want to stop you there. I want to tell you my story.
Right.
Grew up in Bekasi, Tambun, and there
Tambun.
there are a few figures growing up
Yeah.
that I look up to and I say, I want to hang out like them.
Right.
I want to be like them. I'll name a few names. Anton, Hogi, Bergas, Bubu,
Bubu.
Leonardo Sabrata.
Really?
These 5 still young mofos. They rule Jakarta Selatan.
Did we?
Oh, dude, don't say did we. Look, I gotta. The music scene selalu dipegang kalian. The local scene selalu dipegang kalian. Back then, Bubu held, I don't know, Jesus, God, parties all night, everything.
Right.
I saw it as if, whoa, that's a totally different life gitu. Om Hanin salah satunya
Yes,
dengan
Hanin.
Cyclo dan
Aksara. and all
Aksara.
that.
Dude,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
like the mecca of coolness gitu.
It
Dan
was.
akhirnya, I gotta tell you this, gue umur belasan tuh gue magang untuk dia gitu. Di Cyclo, terus gue ngeliat kerennya T-Lab. Bring us back to those days. What is that, 2007, 2 ya?
I came back from America 2002.
What? We're literally at the same place where
Yes.
you were then there,
Yes.
gitu. Kemang.
Hanin is one of the first person yang gue ketemu waktu gue balik.
Yeah, he was on the podcast.
I
Yeah.
was even belum ketemu Hanin DJ at my wedding. Iya. Jadi at the time I was still into sneaker collecting. Baru pulang dari US kan.
Betul.
I was so into Japanese streetwear. I was working in Tokyo during the Ura Harajuku heyday, 99 2000 gitu kan. I lined up for Supreme Bathing Ape T-shirt, all that gitu kan. Yeah, Super Future. I don't know if you remember.
No,
that.
I don't remember
It's a guide. So
Okay.
back then like a Super Future guide. Pokoknya lu mau tahu toko keren di mana. I know more than the Japanese person gitu ya kan. Even my coworkers at Bandai at the time is like, kok lu tahu semua toko ini sih kayak masuk ke bawah ini naik ke atas lantai 2 nggak ada sign. Yeah, I got Super Future gitu ya kan. But before that in LA I was like buying Boone, Tokyo Tribe. If you know that, ya kan kemarin gue ngeliat mainannya Tokyo Tribe, I was like that's my era gitu. I was like in Shibuya and I have that privilege to live that era gitu kan. And it was a beautiful era. And I think when I came back, it didn't exist di Jakarta.
True.
Kecuali Aksara.
Oh, really?
Aksara. Aksara for me was ya cuma ada Aksara sama Tamani Cafe, man.
Yeah, true.
Lu mau makan keren gitu Tamani Cafe.
Dan dua-duanya di Kemang.
Dua-duanya di Kemang. Tadi gua ngelewatin Tamani Cafe masih ada gitu ya
Emang
kan.
Taman di Cafe masih ada?
Iya, signage-nya sih masih ada.
Hooters kan?
Iya, nggak tahu.
Ada fasenya jadi Hooters. Anyway.
Jadi apa ya? For me, ya udah I gravitate towards the space. And I immediately sell my furniture at Aksara sama Ninin gitu kan waktu itu segala macam, kenal sama Winfred, kenal sama Hanin. So those are the first people that I met when I came back gitu kan. And I started sort of like be in a scene. Eko juga gua ketemunya juga nggak terlalu awal, tapi ya I was befriending all this so-called arsitek muda Indonesia.
Yeah, well, look at him now. We're at Sawdust.
Exactly, and then gue bilang kayak gila Eko, wah, mantep banget ya. Like I still remember like meeting young Eko gitu ya kan, and then Yori Antar,
Yeah.
almarhum Juhara, Andra Matin, and all that. Because at the time I was thinking kayak, ini kok design scene nggak ada ya, yang ada architecture scene.
Nah, ya.
Graphic design juga belum. Waktu itu ya belum ada Thinking Room, Eric lah apa ada sih apa namanya?
Baru banget mulai.
Di inilah the more senior guys gitu kan, Pak Hermawan segala macam gitu kan. And they're all in Kemang.
Yeah.
They're all in Kemang gitu kan. And I think the scene was I didn't know Anton and blah 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 karena at the time I was just so busy with my furniture stuff. Until I remember Sneaker Pimps. Jadi Sneaker Pimp pertama itu di gedung gua. Di gedung Semanggi Expo namanya, where I got married. It was owned by my dad, gitu kan. We worked together.
What's Sneaker Pimp?
Sneaker Pimp is the first sneaker event. Futura datang, blah blah blah. Yeah, Adi and all that.
You're
all
talking
that.
like Complex Con kind of shit atau?
Complex Con kind of stuff, gitu kan. It was pre-Bright Spot, gitu
Got
kan. That's how I got to know the Studio 1212 guys,
Yeah, yeah.
Whiteboard guys, gitu kan. Yeah, at the time before that, and then Bright Spot happened.
Changed
Jadi
the game.
that's 2009 ya. Jadi
That's
kayak between 2 and 9, all I did was furniture, design scene, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden 2009 itu semua udah gue tinggalin gitu, istilahnya sneaker udah dimasukin box, udah hancur juga gitu kan.
Terus scene baru naik pada saat itu.
Baru naik gitu. Jadi kayak 2007, 2008 I think tuh baru mulai brewing lagi di sini gitu ya kan. Sedangkan udah gue jual-jualin di eBay segala macam, tinggal sedikit lah. So the first Bright Spot, karena kita nggak bisa dapetin tenant ya cukup lah ya waktu itu, ada 3 yang kita bikin sendiri. Salah satunya is my stall, where itu ya baju-baju Ura Harajuku gue keluarin aja semua gitu kan, all the Supreme, all the Bathing Ape, apalah segala macam bla bla bla, all the denim stuff. Terus ya karena I don't have a need for it because there wasn't the scene. And then all of a sudden like, oh, I understood this scene gitu ya kan.
Yeah.
I used to be part of that scene. I love this scene gitu. Ya udah, pas Bright Spot, let's go. Ya kan. I mean, we got together because of Nike kan. The Nike Sportswear launch 2008 gitu kan. Jadi ya gara-gara itu.
Pacific Place kan?
It was in Senayan City.
Senayan City ya?
Senayan City di bawah gue ingat
Those were
banget.
the days.
Yes. Gitu
What do you see today? Karena I know that's a very broad question. Tapi in a sense, you've passed on what you gave away to dengan Bright Spot and so on. Do you feel like there's an impact from your side and your gang side towards today's culture?
I think we would be too humble if we say well, we don't contribute.
Yeah.
I think we contributed quite a lot. Gitu
Of course,
kan.
dengan good step.
Tapi kan at the same time we act as a trigger. Gitu
Got
kan.
it.
I think what we did, it started small and then it become big. It become a cultural phenomenon. It triggered many other subculture movements along the way gitu kan. Jadi ada mau di musik, mau di fashion. At the time ya, of course definitely local brand gitu kan. Local brand waktu itu kan belum gimana banget gitu ya kan. There is a distro
Culture.
happening in Bandung gitu with Dandy and all that gitu kan. Tapi ini beda gitu waktu itu. Ini yang terjadi di Jakarta nih sedikit beda dengan apa yang terjadi di Bandung. Although orang-orangnya juga sebetulnya dari jebolannya Dendi Darman juga gitu ya kan. Banyak lah gitu.
Yeah.
Makanya waktu terakhir gue ketemu dia di Gudang Selatan gitu, I still remember. This is pre-industry makerspace. At the time ya The Goose sudah jalan bla bla bla, and then I was like, wah nih brand-brand lokal loyalty-nya nggak terlalu gimana gitu kan. Ya kayak ada saingan muncul, the Good Step lainnya gitu kan. Mereka juga ya nyelonong ke sana. And we're all sort of complaining about that. But then I realized, ya kan kita juga bukan bapak emaknya ya.
Yeah.
Tapi when I saw Dandy dan 347-nya gue ke Gudang Selatan, ya gue ngelihat, oh this is how you build your crew. This is how you build your army. You gotta start with them from the beginning. Waktu mereka belum apa-apa gitu. I mean as a platform, yes we gave them a platform gitu, Bright Spot dan segala macam, The Goose Apartment. Tapi before that,
You gotta know them.
you gotta know them gitu.
But I
dari
beg
kecil.
I beg to differ bahwa itu nggak bisa di-apply di Jakarta tapi.
Nah,
Iya nggak sih?
bener. Jadi gue pulang dari Bandung, mikir gitu kan. Pas pulang gue bilang, guys, we need to create a studio di Bandung, ya kan. And then kita taruh mesin jahit, sewa rumah lama, and then we connect to the factories, bla bla bla. And then we will also sell it at the Goose Apartment eventually, right? Well, the idea I think was accepted, tapi nggak pernah gimana-gimana banget. Akhirnya gue bikin industry makerspace.
Yeah.
And then it started from the roots gitu istilahnya self-made. Yeah, we gotta bring out the self-made in them so that they become sort of like your part of
baby.
your network
Yeah.
gitu ya kan. Ya soalnya pas waktu sama si Dendi like, wah nih Kang nuhun. Oh ini yang bikin topi gua nih dulu kerja sama gua gitu. Oh gitu toh. Community.
Yeah.
Community building and then also like grassroots sort of like more grassroots lah ya.
Did it work though tapi?
Industry work.
Yeah, industry work.
Industry
gitu.
work, it's a fucking hard work. You know,
Oh,
kan?
yeah.
And like, tapi ya apa ya kalau emang yang you don't do that from dari bawah, you don't do that with the misalnya dengan hati, nggak bisa. Emang you also have to be very passionate
Yeah.
about it. Gitu. I mean you can do top down sort of like influencing, but
Yeah.
I think it's much better. It's more sticky if you do it from the bottom up
Yeah.
together,
Yeah,
gitu kan, kind of like you share a lot of moments together,
Yeah.
and we all sort of part of a bigger family, gitu.
True.
Yeah, so I mean that's what happened.
Now you're doing a bunch more other stuff.
Yeah, trying to keep myself busy.
Well, too busy. Before we talk about them, before we talk about Marak, we talk about
Yes.
Enpar.
Right.
What was the call like?
The call? Oh, the government call?
Yeah.
So my name came up.
Yeah.
Apparently, my name came up. I think Anton's name came up also.
Have you ever said this somewhere?
No. Yeah, he knew gitu kan, and we knew gitu. Tapi at the time, this is before my mom passed away.
Oh yeah.
It was 2019, late 2019. It was towards the end of her treatment and all that stuff. And then I kind of like asked her
Should I
permission. Should I take this? Gitu kan. And then she's like, yeah, why not? It's your only chance. Gitu kan. No, it's like, what's the worst can happen? Ya udah.
Wow.
I didn't have fucking CV, bla bla bla, minta CV. I'm like, hah CV? Gue gak pernah kerja sama orang bro. Gue bilang kayak, sorry nih, dengkul gue putih nih anjing. Gue bilang kayak, enak aja, gue gak punya CV bos. Gue bilang, you know what I mean?
I still can't believe you're fucking in there with your attitude. Who called you berarti? Pak Erik?
No. So at the
Dia
time,
belum menjabat dong.
No, at the time there was staf khususnya Pak Teten, Mas Duki,
Okay.
Menteri Koperasi dan UKM. But it was through some friends that I can mention.
Of course. No, yeah.
Yeah. Kan when they want to recruit people, they ask
Ada
people
kurasi.
that they know and they respect gitu,
Of
and then
course.
they would provide names gitu.
Yeah.
Saya bilang, udah. Terus ya udah gue panggil setengah jebak gitu kan, tiba-tiba kayak, loh kok press conference, loh kok gue duduk sebelah menteri gitu kan, yang kayak,
Yeah. That
ya
was weird.
udahlah. Tapi kan before that I was doing a lot of stuff for Ahok,
Betul.
gitu kan, doing Jakarta Creative Hub and all
Benar.
that was inspired by industry makerspace. So I guess they saw what I did with local brands,
Yeah.
gitu kan, and then also technically kan itu kan nama jakselnya UMKM gitu
Benar.
kan, ya sebetulnya sama aja lah.
Did you know the what you were going to put aside when you signed up? I mean, we're talking about self-made, industry gitu, and even the goods atau bright spot and so on.
I would say I am someone who's very blessed in terms of like the way I led my life.
Yeah.
And every turning point and every marks in my life itu kayak emang udah dikasih jalan aja gitu. Jadi I didn't know there was COVID coming,
True.
and then all of a sudden I said yes. COVID happened in March gitu. In February we kind of knew. Gue gabung kan di Desember akhir, tapi gue dilantik Januari gitu. Tiba-tiba, wow, my plan segala macam, udah nggak bisa dijalanin.
What was the plan?
The plan is to make it badass gitu kan.
Keluar Indonesia atau
No, Smesco
Tetap
ya
di-
just di Indonesia doing its thing, bla bla bla
Yeah.
segala macam lah dengan semua mimpi-mimpi gua yang akhirnya ya harus put on hold karena COVID kan,
ya
including industri. Jadi industri juga udah nggak bisa dijalani lagi ya karena
nggak ada yang mau
it's
datang
a tactile ini kan one-on-one experience kan. Jadi ya udah close down ya industri, and then I sign up for Smesco, and ya udah dari situ
Tapi
mulai.
di fase pandemi malah senyayur itu dong. Karena everybody started making their own business.
Yes.
Dan menjadi UMKM sendiri. Kan maksudnya
Benar.
tugas Mesco adalah melindungi dan mewadahi para UMKM kan.
I mean, I
So
think
it's a blessing in disguise, no?
it is. It is. So without COVID, I don't think there would be pergerakan yang terorkestrasi seperti apa yang terjadi pada waktu COVID
Got it.
dengan UMKM,
Yeah,
gitu
yeah.
kan? Onboarding into digital platform, people starting up businesses. Everybody started cooking. Everybody started their new hobby. Everybody working out, gitu kan?
That's
Everybody doing sports. Tiba-tiba semualah gitu istilahnya jadi influencer, bla bla bla. So jadi berwarna gitu ya kan. And I kind of miss COVID. I think we need another one.
Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah, like
You're
I
gonna-
had some of the best time in my life.
I do too, but you're gonna get canceled if you say
Yeah, I
that.
know.
Leo.
Yeah,
Okay.
jangan enggak.
Continue.
Sorry.
I'm trying to save your ass here.
Yeah. But yeah, apa ya? A lot of people also benefited from that disaster.
Yeah.
Including myself.
Of
gitu
course,
kan.
yeah.
And the family life couldn't be better.
I agree.
At
I
the
agree.
time, gila lo gue. I mean, like I spent a month in Bali with my family gitu kan.
You know what I wish.
Lagi.
I wished, and I know you'd wish that our parents would have lived a little bit longer and experienced the pandemic, so that we could have spent more time with them. I wish that because my dad died
True.
just before the pandemic, so I felt like I wished I could have spent that little extra time during the pandemic.
True.
Well, we wished more, cuman.
Yeah, betul. I mean, yes and no, because my mom had cancer, so I
Yeah.
know. I'm glad she died before that.
Yeah.
It would have
Oh,
been
true.
a
My dad
disaster.
died before cancer because of cancer as well.
Jadi ya oke lah. Intinya pelajaran apa ya? But yeah, speaking of death gitu kan, if you want to go there. Tapi ini positifnya.
Yeah.
If you live through that as a son or as a daughter or whatever, you become stronger gitu, and then you're like, what's the worst that can happen, man? Nobody died.
Yeah.
If nobody died, udahlah
We
gitu
good.
kan. Udah, let's go
Yeah,
gitu
yeah,
kan.
yeah.
Jadi ya gue boleh dibilang jadi lebih berani, lebih punya, bukan confident ya. Ini beda ya. I mean, orang bilang, oh lu pede banget. Iya pede iya gitu kan, aman alpha gitu kan, ya show Leo ular gitu kan kayak bintang Leo sorry. Ya tapi bukannya itu juga sih, karena lu udah mupuk begitu banyak courage gitu kan, jadi akhirnya ya lu ya
Kebangun
jalanin
masih
aja.
buat-
Yeah,
Okay.
just do it.
You're never a 9 to 5 guy. Only once you've done it. Dulu banget.
Dulu
gitu.
banget, and I fucking hate it.
I know you did. Then
Yeah.
it's so weird karena you know that signing up for Smesco, that was a part of the job.
Gue udah disclaimer dulu.
Wow, really?
Gue bilang, Pak, saya nggak pernah kerja sama orang lain. Jadi, oh iya, Pak, lu kan CEO-nya, it's okay. Just do whatever you want.
You
Okay.
had an office like that, Leo.
I do, but I kind of want to become more, more organized and also more proper gitu kan.
Got it.
And I think I got that from working in the government.
Ya, nah, bekerja dengan struktur.
Yes.
Itu gimana berarti? How did you
I'm
handle
fine
that?
with that. I'm
Oh,
fine
yeah.
with that as long as I see the benefit of being structured gitu kan, being organized and being diligent. Kalau gua nggak ngeliat manfaatnya ya gue tinggal juga.
Okay. Can I ask you something a bit sensitive?
Boleh.
Was there any moment working with crooks?
Define crooks.
Asking for a little bit here and there.
Oh, they know I can't be bought.
I know.
Yeah, so they don't even come to me.
Oh.
Which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah, of
Jadi
course.
istilahnya, ya gue udah pasang image yang jelas-jelas kayak mereka, ini mah hopeless lah, gitu. Jadi kalau,
So many people didn't like you then?
oh fuck yeah, I think everybody hates me.
Everybody wanted to get rid of you, berarti.
Probably, yeah kan, yeah,
How do you sleep at night, Leo?
because I don't give a shit.
How do you have that mentality?
Ya karena I have my own goal, and is to get my S3 degree gitu kan, di pemerintahan, jadi gue makin pinter gitu. Ya again, karena gue udah nyoba yang ini, the indie route, the entrepreneurship route, the government route kan gue gak pernah nyoba gitu.
Yeah.
Jadi so it's for me, the benefit is for me. Dan gue fokus on just getting the benefit out of this experience aja gitu. Like I could give a shit about. Gue pernah di demo di depan Smesco, terus gue samperin aja yang demo Ambon-Ambon gitu kan, pakai poster ada muka gue gitu, like they don't even know me. I'm like right in front of them. Like, wah ini apalah segala macam kayak. Sampai gue ditarik sapam gitu kan kayak.
Okay, then I know you're tough.
No.
No, you're a tough man. But the family's not so tough, I don't believe.
You mean my kids?
Yeah, your kids. Irene, how did they handle it? Whilst you're in there.
Hey guys, sorry for interrupting the podcast. We have a special announcement. Kita sedang berkolaborasi dengan Avalanche, sebuah brand parfum, dan kita membuat 2 varian. Ada the host dan juga the interview room. Both smells really good, dan it represents the podcast itself. If you're a fan and if you're a friend, jangan lupa langsung beli. Link in the description. Now, let's get back to the podcast. Thank you.
Well, we don't really talk about that kind of stuff at home.
You leave it aside, but
Well, this last incident we did, and you know what my daughter said?
which incident is this?
When I got in a street fight.
Yeah.
So
What did she say?
she's like, yeah, my wife was telling the story, and then she was like, oh, daddy was doing this, yeah. and I look at her, I was like, shit, kayak, aduh bener lagi dia bangke. Lagi, jadi istilahnya apa ya? We never hide who we are.
Yeah.
I smoke, I drink at home.
Yeah.
And I don't hide the fact that, tapi at the same time, I also love them very much. We also love them, we embrace them a lot gitu kan. And we give them the attention that they need. Tapi dia juga tahu, nih bapak emaknya brengsek nih. Ya nggak deh, sorry. Bapaknya brengsek gitu kan. Jadi ya kayak apa ya, mungkin hope-nya adalah nanti anak gue justru malah ngeliatnya gue gak mau kayak dia nih. But still love me gitu.
Yeah, of course they do. Gue yang menurut gue paling unik adalah dari sekian tahun lo di pemerintahan, Leo tuh gak pernah ada satu foto pun gue lihat pakai batik. Dia
Oh banyak.
Masa sih?
Banyak man. I was like collecting batik, which is
iya batik-batik keren. Sama lo pakainya Sukacita. Kan menurut gue aneh. Kayak dia gak pakai peci.
Batiknya bisa open collar gitu.
Iya. Okay, but that's not done actually. You're still working with them.
I still have my tenure in Sarina as a commissioner. So I was involved in the transformation of Sarina, which
Yeah.
I'm glad I did. And I realized kayak misalnya, iya, kemarin ada yang ngomong nih kayak gini. Tiap kali ada masalah nyalinya Leo.
What I said, Leo nih is like an ass wiper for every
Kayak-
problem.
Like, I mean, is that really? Gitu
That's
kan?
how I
Tapi-
see it.
Ya cuman gue juga nggak ngelihatnya that's as a problem gitu. Mungkin it is a problem. It's not really my problem. Tapi I was moved by the situation gitu. Kayak misalnya sekarang, ya ini kan kondisi negara ini juga sedang tidak baik-baik saja lah gitu kan. Industrinya juga nggak baik-baik saja. There's a lot of challenges going into Indonesia cemas 2045 gitu ya kan. All that gitu. Tapi kayak ayo dong, masa kita cuman sit on our asses and then don't do anything gitu kan? I mean, in our capacity as someone who is ya punya influence and or punya position, I think we have to do something. It's not like Spider-Man or whatnot gitu kan? Ya bukannya begitu juga. Cuman ya kayak lu gemes gak sih gitu kan? It's just to quench your own thirst gitu. Kalau nggak, nah itu kalau gua nggak quench it, gua justru nggak bisa tidur at night.
But you're not talking about rebranding a book atau a cafe. You're talking about legacy, Sarina, and it's not just a mall, Leo.
Yes,
It's a brand.
It's a very sacred brand actually.
Exactly, dan
It's a very sacred
tempat
brand.
pertama di Indonesia yang memiliki sejarah sebegitu kental untuk
Yeah.
perbelanjaan gitu. Like and becoming a commissioner for that gitu. What's the aim now? Karena it's so difficult.
I think we had our success gitu when during the new launch of the Transform Sarina, gokil banget, jutaan orang dan segala macam. Cuman I kind of warn already to the people there gitu kan bahwa to make something viral is very easy actually, ya kan, and there was a political will behind that, so it makes it even more easier. bener kan?
Iya,
Iyalah,
iya.
lu
You
ditambah ya istilahnya ini ada historical,
Iya.
ada legacy,
Udah enak banget
ditambah
masuk
political will gitu kan. Masuknya gampang gitu
banget,
ya kan.
ya.
Tapi PR-nya kan sekarang
Melanjutkan ya.
melanjutkan being sustainable and being an actual business.
Again,
Blah, blah,
you're
blah.
wiping their shit berarti.
Ya istilahnya apa ya? No, I mean I do my part. Everybody do their part. The BOD work very, very hard.
Yeah.
I give a lot of props to them. And then there's InJourney now as our holding, which is they're doing also great work.
Really?
In my opinion, yeah.
Wow.
Jadi apa ya istilahnya? Ya nggak bisa. It's an ongoing thing.
Got it.
Cuman working in the government kan ada time limit. Ya kan? Ya time limitnya kan setiap kali ya orang
Ada
yang
yang
orang
pindah.
yang ini ganti ya ganti gitu. Ntar tiba-tiba logo ganti semuanya ganti ya kan. So continuity that's the hardest thing to do di Indonesia. Not even in the government. The government very hard. Di swasta juga very hard.
Ya.
Karena ya I think it's our education, the way
Yeah.
we are educated
True.
gitu yang kayak nggak emangnya cepet bosen gitu. Jadi gue being orang yang cepet bosen, iya gue juga ngerasa nggak sendirian sih sebetulnya. I'm sure sebetulnya banyak banget yang cepet bosen. We're talking about succession now. Kayak misalnya kenapa sih nggak ada brand Indonesia yang bisa 200 tahun gitu misalnya. Ya karena nggak ada succession.
Ya.
The second generation, the third gen gitu mungkin. I mean there's only a few man.
Ya,
Gitu
ya.
kan yang kayak bisa dan mau. Kalau enggak udah di IPO-in. Habis IPO udah tinggal cash out gitu kan. Kayak, ya udah
Ya.
nih kasih ke profesional aja. Loh bener.
Yeah, you're talking about entrepreneurship in a nutshell yang sangat apa ya? It's the hard truth.
It's hard. It's during the tech and before the bubble, I was speaking out against it gitu kan during the industry makerspace era. That's why there's also another reason why I do self-made and industry. Karena gue nggak suka apa yang terjadi di tech scene. Sorry, kalau misalnya burning sih gue juga jago men.
Ya.
Iya kalau ngomonginnya runway tiap hari ya itu mah ya beda lah ya. Oke, pusingnya sama, tapi it's giving a lot of wrong mindset to the young generation at the time gitu ya. Waktu itu kan millennials kan. Itu pas keluar pay grade-nya udah segitu gitu kan, kerja baru 2 tahun, and then now we wanna hire them.
Iya betul sih.
Mereka udah nggak bisa change their lifestyle.
Dan sekarang dampaknya ke generasi
Dampaknya
sekarang.
sekarang gitu kan
I agree.
istilahnya like man, you're
Overconsumption.
fucking up the generation with this made believe bubble gitu yang sebetulnya it's not real. I'm a believer in real sector dan emang potensinya Indonesia dari dulu juga real sector kali.
True.
Ya come on lah man, ya, negaranya isinya laut sama padi gimana?
Tapi ada satu faktor lagi yang lebih besar gitu loh kalau ngomongin Sarina menurut gue loh. Yaitu ya faktor kebudayaan itu yang susah you can't separate that, you know? It's a business, yes.
Yeah.
Tapi faktor itu yang menurut gue lebih besar daripada
We
itu.
talked about that. Sarina as a social enterprise, apakah mungkin gitu ya kan? We have not only the burden of the business, but also the burden of being a symbol.
That's
Being
the
a
right.
symbol gitu kan. Ini simbol kan kalau apalagi kalau udah sacred ya, udah nyampe ke level sacred, itu kan mesti dijaga. Dijaga pakai apa? Pakai duit kali gitu kan. Emangnya pakai apaan? Pakai doa.
Dia
Gitu
kesadaran,
kan. Iya oke lah doa sama duit gitu ya kan. Kayak, ya nggak bisa gitu. Jadi artinya gimana caranya maintaining the sacrilegious ininya lah ya of the brand gitu
Ya.
loh.
Kalau
itu
nggak
susah men.
Oke. Ini I want to segue this to Marak.
Sure.
Karena I want to talk about symbol juga.
Betul.
Which is Arak itself
Yes.
gitu. And the correlation with Sarina, I want to segue it this way. Lo pernah menyebut dengan Pak Hilmar Farid juga, budaya itu bisa bukan diubah, tapi dipercantik untuk diperkenalkan secara global.
No, I said ngarang.
Leo, I'm trying to. I'm trying
You're too
to.
polite. I said ngarang bos.
Itu. That's what I mean. Fuck. So, gue mempercantik kata-kata
Iya,
lo,
oke,
tapi
silakan mempercantik.
Iya, tapi adalah lo bisa ngarang untuk membuat budaya itu agar bisa dikenal oleh luar negeri. Contohnya Pad Thai. dan kesuksesan Pad Thai yang ternyata bukan dari darah mereka ngebikin apa segala macam gitu.
No.
Nggak semudah itu untuk lo mengucapkan ini kepada pemerintah dan juga warganya gitu. Dan lo mencoba untuk membuktikan itu dengan marak. Benar atau enggak?
Bener. I mean, the number one reason waktu during COVID, Bali kan minus 12% ekonominya kan. And heavily relied on tourism.
True.
Yang juga nggak sehat gitu ya kan. Dan I realized that in Bali juga nggak ada industri yang backed up the economy gitu, maksudnya selain tourism gitu kan. Padahal kan ada budaya, ada apa namanya, ada produk mungkin produk agro dan lain sebagainya lah. Lu pulang dari Bali bawa oleh-oleh apa sih?
Pia.
In the 80s, exactly. In the 80s, in the 90s, almost every household pasti punya lukisan burung jala.
Betul.
Ya, lukisan padi gitu kan, whatever. Terus ada barong, topeng. Itu semua produk tourism kan sebetulnya.
Yeah.
It wasn't a product of, it was created by the Pitamaha guys gitu kan. Yang convert dari tadinya ini worshipping culture into a tourism culture. Tapi mereka butuh oleh-oleh gitu. Ya udah. Tiba-tiba ada gadis Bali, tiba-tiba ada si Pak Petani, ada bebek gitu kan. Itu kan dikarang semua. Dikarang sama bule, sama Walter Spies, sama si siapa namanya? Rudolf Bonnet gitu kan, with Blanco and all that. Pitamaha. So they envision this. What you see now is their vision. Together with the Ubud king gitu kan at the time gitu kan. Nah, kalau mereka berlima bisa, and by the way, I read Walter Spies' book. They did that in the span of 10 years, bro.
Wow.
Masa mereka di zaman itu di tahun 40-an sampai 50-an bisa melakukan semuanya itu sampai ngerubah kecak segala macam. Cuma 10 tahun orang dia berangkat dari desa satu ke Banjar satunya lagi aja jalan kaki. Lama gitu kan. Emang ada telepon gitu. Ya ada kali ya, tapi ya enggak lah. Gua rasa juga masih kayak pakai burung merpati kali. It's like, so how? So kita dengan speed of right now, masa kita nggak bisa? It's almost like we have to be ashamed of that, man.
Can we talk about ethicality?
Ethics? There's ethics, yeah. Okay. Iya boleh.
Does it play a part?
I think ethics plays a part in the way you think, in the way you make your decision, in the way you want to be the way you want to be influencing people. And also spread the virus, the good virus gitu kan.
Iya.
Kalau lu nggak ada ethics, ya akhirnya you spreading the bad virus kan.
Tapi etika dalam mengarang budaya.
Nah,
itu ada. I don't know where's the line. I don't know to what extent gitu.
Yes. Pasti semua orang konotasinya negatif dulu. And gue selalu diserang juga gitu kayak, gila lu ngarang. By the way, maybe you're not old enough to remember, or whoever is in front of us. I'm old enough to know, gitu kan, and the audience nih yang Gen X. Dulu waktu kita SD itu ada namanya pelajaran mengarang, bahasa Indonesia bos. Pelajaran mengarang, di situ kita mesti mengarang essay, about whatever. Sekarang mengarang itu seakan-akan negatif, gitu kan. When I say mengarang, it's about creating a vision, kan? A vision that you believe, and then there's enough mass, there's enough mob to back you up, berjemaah, akhirnya jadi realita. Dulu, ini kan perintah titah. Buat apa? Buat kontrol sosial kali. Kalau gue jadi raja dulu, mampus semua orang ya kan. Gue ngarang ini, gue ngarang ini. Ya kayak misalnya, oh itu pohon jangan ditebang ya. Ya kenapa? Ya karena bagus kali. Ya rakyatnya lapar bos gitu kan. Ya mungkin dia butuh kayu bakar tapi karena bagus rajanya suka. Ini jangan ditebang ya.
Sakral.
Kenapa? Karena sakral. Nggak ditebang. Ya kan. Semua pohon gede di Indonesia kalau lu traveling. Itu adanya di kuburan bro. Tinggal di kuburan doang ada pohon bagus. Sisanya udah habis gitu ya kan. Jadi gue pernah tuh kayak nyari pohon purba sama bokap gue gitu kan. Di kuburan. Di ujung kulon gitu kan. Wah guide-nya di belakang udah ngebaca jam, udah maghrib gitu kan. Kayak gue nengok nih siapa sih. Udah gelap banget. You know, and this is apa ya? social control gitu kan, and also you trying to achieve some kind of order gitu ya, not dictatorship gitu, some kind of order, law, ya kan, ya kalau dulu kan mungkin ya salah satu caranya begitu, karena paling gampang kan gitu kan.
Betul.
Bikin aja orang takut. Fear is the best ini kan, misalnya.
The best,
Takut
yeah.
apa? Takut sakit, takut kena kutuk, takut apa gitu kan. Nah, sekarang mungkin fungsinya bukan kayak gitu lagi gitu, tapi fungsinya adalah okay, you can also be better by doing this gitu kan, tapi law-nya gini ya gue ngarang aja.
Yeah. And that makes sense. That makes sense actually. Ngarang dengan marak tuh apa berarti? Bagian ngarangnya di mana?
Sebetulnya ngarangnya gini. Jadi waktu during COVID, I was spending a lot of time di Bali gitu kan, in and out buat G20 juga waktu itu, for Smesco. I have my own sort of pursuit of this cultural pursuit, ya kan?
Yeah.
Dimana gue juga baru tahu sebagai keturunan Tionghoa bahwa kebudayaan Tionghoa di Bali itu sebetulnya dates back really long, and udah ada ribuan tahun lamanya gitu kan, tapi nggak pernah dibicarakan. Tiba-tiba gue asik sendiri doing Google Earth gitu kan, bla bla bla, zoom in zoom out segala macam, trying to find the story behind this. And I talked to some people. I finally talked to one of the caretaker of the cemetery di Carangsari, gitu kan, di atasnya Sange, di mana di situ dikuburkan istrinya I Gusti Ngurah Rai, bro.
Oh iya,
Dikubur loh ya, orang Bali itu nggak dikubur loh.
dibakar.
Yes, tapi requestnya dia mau dikuburkan di sebelah suaminya yang terakhir, which is keturunan Tionghoa Bali.
Wow, that's
Dan
interesting.
kuburannya itu adanya di belakang monumennya I Gusti Ngurah Rai. Jadi pertama kali gue datang, gue cuma celingak-celinguk aja, nggak ada orangnya gitu kan, ada ular kobra doang gitu. Ya, terus gue cari, and this is where manifest and ngarang and belief gitu kan comes into play. And nggak tahu gimana kalau di Bali tuh emang kayak when you manifest something, it's just like set gitu kan, kayak kenceng banget. And I found the guy gitu kan through talking to my bartender di Hotel Komo gitu kan, lagi, beli. Lu kan orang Sange, lu kan juga Ida Bagus, gue bilang gitu kan. Pasti you know the guys there dong, Banjar tuh Banjar gitu kan. Do you know this guy? Oh ya udah.
Who's this guy that you're talking about?
So his name is Ko Chen gitu ya, Li Liang Chen gitu kan. Tapi nama Balinya gue lupa. Adalah, I have the video. We made a small documentary about it. So he told me the story about how his ancestor came to this area. After being rejected di Sange, terus mereka naik ke atas ke Carangsari, diterima sama keluarga raja, jadi pembantu bro.
Wow.
Jadi pembantu cuma 4 keluarga, bantu raja, lama-lama they move up, ya bla 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 lah gitu kan. But it's fascinating to me because a lot of the older influence, udah ada dari sejak zamannya mereka, ancestornya dia. Jadi the color red, ya kan dari Jawa juga lah, dari zamannya Majapahit, Singosari dan lain-lainnya segala macam. So I start to really looking into history and the way history is made. Ngarang semua kali. Emangnya apaan? Lu baca deh yang terakhir deh, yang bukunya mengenai Sriwijaya.
Yeah.
Totally ngarang.
Yeah.
Semua rajanya ngarang semua, man.
Yeah.
It's after bangkit, ya kan, bangkit dijatoin, ngarang lagi biar bangkit.
Biar ada klimaks.
Yes, semuanya ngarang gitu kan. Jadi ya kayak, oke, gue maunya begini ya, gue mau candi gue begini ya sekarang ya. Gue nggak mau yang kayak dulu lagi gitu kan.
Gue mau ada perubahan.
Gue mau ada perubahan, gue mau symbolize apa, symbolize begini. Ngarang, man. So why can't we?
That's right.
Iya kan, I mean every subculture in this world that we all enjoy now, this all that we talked about.
It's a made up.
It's a made up culture.
That's right.
Skateboard started with one guy.
Yeah.
So is surfing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is whatever that it's influenced streetwear. Semua juga dimulai dari satu orang.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. How did Marak come into your life, berarti?
well, aside being an alcoholic, you know,
You can't fucking say that.
no.
I don't know how to wipe your ass now.
No.
Aside from loving liquor.
Yeah, aside from loving liquor, Wikipedia. Ya gue cuman metain aja sih waktu di Bali itu kira-kira yang jenis locinya apa. And I saw kebudayaan arak Bali gitu
Yeah.
kan, yang sebetulnya punya potensi yang luar biasa. And then at the time juga I kind of met this guy, you know, the sour grape guy.
Sour grape guy. Who are we talking about?
Yeah, the guy who went into jail in the U.S. caught by
Oh
the
yeah,
FBI.
of course.
Yes,
What, you met him?
met him.
No, you didn't.
I did.
There's a whole documentary about him.
Yes. So I was.
What did he say?
Well, I can't disclaim anything, tapi this is my POV ya. Gitu.
Yeah.
Gue cuma bilang sama dia, you're my fucking hero. Because you somehow unearthed probably also a
Scam.
big conspiracy
Oh yeah.
that was done by somebody else. I wouldn't name who,
Yeah.
gitu ya kan. That you ya nggak sengaja you discover that and
Yeah.
then letting people know that actually ngoplos juga bisa.
Yeah.
So kalau misalnya yang lain juga ngoplos, yang real apa?
Yeah.
What is real? What is genuine? Iya kan? Tapi then again, of course lah, having heritage, having indikasi geografis, having the terroir gitu ya kan, or whatever, it gives you credibility.
Yeah.
It gives you whatever. You have to earn it.
Yeah.
Nah, itu I think that's where the even playing field-nya gitu. Fair play-nya tuh di situ gitu.
Yeah,
Bukannya tiba-tiba lu malsuin sesuatu terus and then lu bisa jadi famous. Enggak.
Yeah.
You also have to earn it gitu.
Yeah.
And it's called ngarang, man.
Betul.
Ngarang
I
pakai
was just
waktu.
gonna say.
Ngarang pakai 100 tahun gitu. Ngarang pakai 50 tahun. Akhirnya jadi.
Yeah.
Nah, ketika udah jadi,
Baru
itu
orang
baru
mempertanya, iya.
gitu loh. Jadi ya istilahnya, gua nggak mau ngajarin orang untuk nipu. No, you have to realize that you have to earn whatever it is that you're doing, but you have to start somewhere. Tapi juga jangan terlalu easy to believe whatever it is that people claim. Ya gue kan suka ngenyek gitu kan. Bini gue paling kesel tuh kayak like nothing makes you happy. Even my daughter juga kayak wow daddy like nothing satisfy you gitu ya kayak yeah. Your mom's cooking is Michelin star quality. Kalau gue misalnya masuk ke restoran tiba-tiba makanan lebih nggak enak daripada dia, ya gue nyein
I'm gonna
lah.
talk about it,
I'm gonna talk about it gitu kan. Oh, this meal shit gitu ya kan kayak sorry gitu kan. And yeah, that's how we tough them up. Actually,
True, that's
yeah,
right.
they may become like kayak critical gitu, but so be it gitu kan. I mean that's what we're trying to.
That's the culture that we should.
Yeah, being
Be
critical.
critical. Yeah.
Being critical and being tapi logical juga ya at the same time.
True.
Ya. Knowing where things come from, knowing how things are made.
Yep.
Ya kalau lu cuman nggak bisa ya nggak bisa lah.
Yeah, you have proof to your statement. That's very
I try
important.
to do that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, it's your new toy, brother.
It's my new toy. It's a very passionate project where I prepare everything, including the ecosystem
Yeah.
of the supply chain and everything. Because setelah berapa 3 tahun gitu, looking and mapping out where it needs to be, then I act upon it gitu kan. Nggak mau gegabah, nggak mau.
It doesn't
seperti
sound
dulu
like
lagi.
you.
Actually, I give things a lot of thought before I do it. the main things, the main things.
yeah, the main things.
The side hobby mah enggak.
Enggak, ya,
The side hobby enggak pakai mikir, man.
Yeah,
Gitu.
all
Kayak,
those
beli
Land Rovers,
Iya,
those
iya.
watches enggak, itu enggak
No,
mikir.
no,
Okay.
itu enggak. Itu enggak pakai mikir. Tapi ada reasonsnya juga. Speaking about side project, ya sama juga gitu ya kan. I have my idealism there. And I have my learning curve and process that I want to achieve. Kalau marak ini sama ARC ini sebetulnya karena at my age I need a project that could possibly really bring me my teenage dream come true,
Is it?
which is go international.
No, Leo, you've been going international anyway.
Not that way. Not that way.
I mean, you've
I mean,
done
people-
pop-ups in Japan.
Pop-ups, man. It's no different
yeah, I
from
got
like
you.
paying somebody and then end up in a billboard in New York Times
Yeah,
Square.
true.
Sama aja, ya kan? Nggak
Yeah.
kayak gitu. Yes, I've done things gitu kan, and I have international recognition, but that doesn't really matter. Jadi waktu gua di furniture, I won basically the Oscar of design.
True.
Ya kan, Red Dot Design Award. I have 2 of them. Gitu kan. Like, tapi
it means shit gitu kan. Kecuali barang lu bener-bener ada di household di luar negeri, dipakai orang banyak, menyentuh banyak orang dan lain segala macam. Itu baru sukses menurut gua. After 20 years, gue baru tahu. Jadi kayak kemarin baru ada yang mau nge-revive Aku Punto, gue baru realize, man, we're vintage. And ternyata banyak juga ya dia customer-customer di luar negeri yang jual kita sebagai vintage. And I was like, oh,
We use them in the office kan?
You know this, right? I know. Jadi apa ya? Kayak misalnya, a lot of people kayak, wah sayang ya lu nggak terusin gitu kan. Tapi selalu gue bilang, I never divert from design. Everything that I do always have design in it.
Yeah.
And everything that I do is within the creative industry lane gitu kan. Dan gue nggak bisa tiba-tiba jualan batu bara gitu, nggak bisa. Emang gue nggak bisa.
Nggak di situ ya.
Nggak di situ ya kan. And for me ya ini proses aja. I'll come back to it. Actually now I'm going back a lot more in design. A lot more.
Yeah, Marak Arc, they look phenomenal.
Thank you.
It's so pretty. It's so nice.
Thank you.
I mean, I know you pay attention to details, especially on the things that you love see.
Yes.
And that's where I could see there's value in it. It's not I haven't tasted it.
Oh, you should.
I know, tapi from what I see, I know I'd love it. So it's gonna be a tough one, dong, berarti. If the aim is so huge, you get what I mean.
It's not. My goal is to make arak the new category of spirit in the world, and I think that's the challenge. We need our sake moment. We need our whiskey moment, our tequila moment. Come on, man.
Yeah.
When I was in college, tequila is all shit. Seriously, I had nightmares about tequila, okay? Like traumatized and everything. Tapi sekarang gitu kan, wah, like sipping tequila, come on, man.
True.
Itu kan semua didorong, semua ini makanya kenapa?
Semua dikarang
semuanya ini kan by Hollywood, by The Rock, by apa siapa tuh, ya pokoknya semua lah, Codigo lah, apa bla bla bla. Apa ya? Perlu ada movement, and movement have cycles. So and I pay attention to this. It's also makanya kenapa I collect vintage stuff. It's because there's a auction in play.
Oh.
There's this authority in play. Ngerti gak sih lo?
Yeah.
So I kind of discovered this when I was collecting these things gitu kan. Kayak like, oh nih mafianya ini nih. Kalau lu ngerti, gini nih. Coba lu perhatiin ya. When anytime this also applies to art, whenever there is like something yang lagi meledak di auction, tiba-tiba semua independent dealernya keluarin barangnya semua. Ya, ngerti? Jadi ntar mereka berjemaah nih saling gini. Akhirnya industrinya jadi. Akhirnya barangnya jadi. Yang gue mau goreng sekarang itu kita tentuin bersama.
Berarti lo gak bisa jalan sendiri dong? Maksudnya
Gak bisa. Gak bisa. Dari awal gue udah bilang gak bisa. Ini harus bersama-sama. Istilahnya kita masih kecil-kecil aja udah berantem.
Iya,
Problemnya di Indonesia itu. Masih unyu-unyu, masih culun-culun, gila kayak anjing. Gue bilang kayak udah berantem, kayak lu siapa aja gitu ya kan.
Shall we go to that part?
Of course.
Okay. God, I didn't know this was gonna be 3 hours. Tapi let's fucking bring it on. Competition, Leo. Belum nyampe situ aja, udah ribut-ributan.
Yeah.
I want to talk about F&B.
Sure.
Because you're in the drink business. Congratulations,
Thank
Arak.
you.
It's not that easy when you talk about food.
Yeah, food's tough.
Food stuff.
Food is tough.
Then what we heard, it's been kind of a roller coaster ride. Healthy competition, unhealthy competition. I see it very unhealthy.
You're talking about the Bami War.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's apa ya? I can't imagine being you gitu. Karena you're building a legacy di luar dengan tujuan lo seperti apa. Your wife likes to cook. This is something very close to your heart.
Yeah.
How do you react to this now gitu?
Ya mungkin karena we're so passionate about it, makanya we're pissed off about it gitu kan.
You don't have to be passionate about it.
Not only about the situation, tapi it's about the mindset that it created gitu loh. Maksudnya that it's okay to do such thing gitu loh. Ngerti gak sih? Tapi then again, historically, it happens all the time. Even amongst families.
True.
Ya come on lah ya tiba-tiba Ya itu bakmi yang non halal tuh, nasi campur yang non halal yang deket sini nih.
Iya.
Kan baru juga tuh, baru. Iya kan? So, it happens all the time, but we're talking about building a legacy. And building a nation of like quality gitu kan. Ya nggak mungkin kalau misalnya this history always repeat itself. Nggak bisa gitu. Jadi mindsetnya ini yang gue kesel gitu istilahnya. Oh, mindset yang kayak gini tuh istilahnya kayak bahkan mungkin banyak orang yang nerima aja gitu bahwa this is okay. Ya udah gitu. Business is business. Like really?
Ya.
Itu sih sebetulnya. Jadi bukannya per se what the other people did gitu kan, tapi lebih kayak this will not give a good
it will not give room to be better together.
Ya maksudnya ya oke lah. Apa ya? Competition is competition, if it's healthy, so be it, gitu ya kan, namanya juga bisnis. Tapi kan when you're manipulating apalah setenting segala macam, ya itu yang nggak menyenangkan gitu ya kan. And I mean,
Tetapi untuk orang nomor satu ketika bicara UMKM, melihat situasi seperti ini, lo pasti pernah melihat dengan segala skala dong.
Kalau sering lihat misalnya kita lagi ke puncak nih, let's say nih di Cisarua gitu kan, satu jual pisang, satu deret jual pisang semua, bener kan?
Iya.
Nggak pernah tuh satu jual pisang, satu jual anggur, satu jual apa ya kan? So I think it's also because of our culture that it's okay to gotong royong together, and it's okay to share your success gitu kan with ini. So we're actually not as capitalist as we would like to be.
True.
Cuman ya, I'm not saying that that's a good thing gitu capitalism. Cuman kayak misalnya I mean maybe we should look at some other countries kayak misalnya Jepang atau gimana gitu ya. I look up to a lot. Yang dimana ya healthy competition works gitu kan.
Yeah.
And they play strength to each other. And by the way, mereka juga ngarang ya. Dan gue ngomong ini ke government official Jepang dan dia ketawa karena dia tahu apa yang gue ngomong itu benar. So I told them, gue tahu rahasia lu kan pokoknya oleh-oleh lu semuanya satunya rice cracker base, matcha base ya kan, mochi base apa segala macam. Cuman pindah prefecture, yang ini digoreng, yang ini direbus ya kan, yang ini direbus pakai apa gitu. Terus dia ketawa, dia bilang, wow, he's laughing at us. But it's true.
It's true.
But it's a strategy. Bukannya mereka mau nipu orang, enggak. Tapi ini ada agregasi, ada konsolidasi. Also mapping out what you're good at. Gitu kan. And then just doing that on a consistent level.
And make it yours.
Yeah. Lah bahkan dia bisa take other people's culture, jadiin punya dia sampai even better. Hello denim.
Ya.
Hello kemarin yang menang pastry itu whatever competition orang Jepang gitu ya kan. Not the French gitu. So, apa ya, buat gua, oke, kalau mau maju as a nation, ya kita harus bisa punya that kind of mindset gitu. Yes, they did copy back then. That's true. Tapi the way they copy, tapi alasannya kayak beda deh. Alasannya is to be better. Bukannya copy blatant gitu ya kan.
Yeah.
And I think China is already there also. 20 years ago, we make fun of them.
Yeah.
Sekarang lu beli mobilnya juga.
Yeah, look at ChatGPT and DeepSeek.
Hello DeepSeek,
gitu.
Ya kan tiba-tiba jebret.
Yeah. Dan
so, itu loh.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Jangan ngopi doang, tapi nggak ada effort to be better gitu loh. Ya kan, sorry, but that needs to be changed.
That's the truth about what you've been through.
Well, that's how I feel. I'm sure the other party also felt whatever, not guilty or whatever. Ya biarin aja, itu kan haknya dia ya kan.
Gosh. I want to talk about one last thing sebetulnya, which is the comeback of Good Step.
Oh yes, big story.
Jeez, should we talk about it now?
We should.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. It's a big signal,
dude. It was the mecca of cool stuff.
Yes.
I'll bring it back to 2009. That's where I want to be. That's where I want to eat burgers. That's where I want to get my stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where I want to be seen. It didn't feel that way
anymore.
Yeah. ever since you guys sold it.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, as a consumer point of view,
Yes.
I didn't feel that way. I didn't enjoy it. Even at some point, I didn't know when I went to a mall and I know Goods was there, I didn't have the urge to go there gitu. Nggak ada kepentingan untuk sana. Dulu gua harus ke sana gitu.
Wajib nih.
Wajib gitu ke sana. Things changed. My question is, one, what happened?
Yeah.
Two, how do you make it feel like it's 2009 again?
All right. Again, I think I can only speak for myself. Yeah, as part of the Goods department, but
I'll have the rest of the team here soon.
Yes.
I'd love that.
Yes, you should.
Yeah.
Karena I think this is important to talk about.
Yeah.
We made a decision at that time to let expansion mode gitu kan. It was time gitu. We felt like at the time it was time. So the private equity came in gitu kan, and took a majority stake into the venture gitu kan, which is fine at the time because I think we all signed up for it. So it was nobody's fault kan. Iyalah, makanya ini kayak kadang-kadang orang, wah ini enggak lagi. Orang kita tanda tangan semua kok.
Iya,
jadi ya dosa kita juga lagi, ya kan. So I felt like we have to own up to it gitu kan, whatever happened.
Got it.
And yeah,
after that, big boss move nih.
Yeah. After that kan we of course we not lose control yang gimana, tapi kan ya emang secara hukum ya kan, of course the majority have the say gitu kan. Jadi ya kita ngikut lah gitu istilahnya. Although at the time kalau lu inget yang waktu itu gue bikin kolaborasi sama Amer, sama si Indomie, Swallow segala macam, went viral, bla bla bla. Itu after we got invested. It was after we got invested gitu kan. Tapi ya it was the effort to make it ya cool again juga gitu. At the time ya udah tahu lah bahwa ini ada sesuatu yang harus dilakukan lah gitu kan. Nah intinya I never blame anyone in that to what happened gitu kan. Cuman opportunity rise again for us to take it back. And I think Anton, especially Anton, has been working on it for years gitu kan, in this effort. And finally, heads up to him gitu kan and the team, we got it back. We actually acquired back.
Oof.
But
congratulations.
Thank you. But I have to note this. It's also, I think it's because we have a good relationship with the private equity.
Yeah.
And they somehow also supported the idea.
They wouldn't sell it to you guys again if they didn't love the brand.
Itu maksud gua.
Yeah.
And us.
Yeah.
Also kayak istilahnya kayak ya kita nggak pernah ada polemik yang gimana beef atau gimana gitu kan sama PI-nya ya gitu kan. Jadi istilahnya ya maybe ini I never actually validate with them, tapi I feel ya kan The Wirjonos kan orangnya baik-baik semua ya. Gue yang paling bangsat gitu. Gue setuju.
Yeah.
Aduh, The Wirjono is like angel semuanya, man.
If you go to a party, we know who's the most drunk.
Yeah. Jadi maksud gue, ya mereka they don't like confrontation gitu kan. They jawab banget lah gitu istilahnya. So ya mungkin karena itu juga akhirnya ya kayak like we are where we are today, and I see Bright Spot becoming relevant again. It's also because we are who we are.
Always been lah.
No, there are times where we're starting to feel like we're not relevant anymore, and we're singing the same song.
Which one?
Ya tengah-tengah lah.
Really?
Iyalah. Well, if you don't feel it, that's good. I felt it. Gitu. Jadi istilahnya di tengah-tengah kan kita kayak udah mulai kehilangan foothold gitu kan in the ya gitu deh.
I personally never felt it.
Ya, kayak istilahnya aduh lagunya ini lagi nih gitu kan.
Iya,
tapi
paham.
Lagu yang sama sekarang yang dengerin Gen Z.
Paham. Jadi it's an opportunity for you to get back up.
Okay. Kemarin kita duduk semua di PIM, gua ngeliatin gitu kan market barunya, it's like oh my god.
I'll tell you this. My brother, 15 years old.
Right now. Yeah.
He goes to Good Step every time he goes to PIM.
Exactly.
I ask him,
What do you do?
What do you do?
Yeah. Foto.
Nope.
Apain?
I swear to God, Leo. the same reason why I went. I'm having goosebumps. The same reason why I came there 2009.
To be seen.
One, to be seen.
Yeah.
Yang kedua, coffee rubbed burger.
No shit.
Coffee fucking rubbed burger.
Oh wow. Okay.
After 12 years.
Lebih. 2010.
Yeah.
14 tahun.
I can never
Wow, okay.
Era fucking rainbow cake, red velvet cake.
Yes.
You know, hoagie on the deck.
Yes.
Itu gue mau rasain lagi gitu.
Nah.
Dan gue yakin adik gue mau ngerasain itu lagi.
Speaking of turun gunung nih, ya kan.
Para dewa turun gunung nih.
Ini dewa tuh, udah asap semua di belakang, ya kan. So we felt the calling without being dramatic. It's a calling kan, gitu kan.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have sort of like our own thing now, gitu kan. Especially kayak Inong sama Chris, gitu kan. Myself, gitu kan. Anton is very much still within his lane, gitu kan. I mean,
props to him.
Props gila.
Props gila.
And I don't know how he does it, gitu kan. Being consistent like that. Tapi ya, kayak I think this calling sort of call upon all of us to also let's do it together again, gitu ya kan. Yeah. As a founder, original founders of Bright Spot and the Goods Department. So we're doing meetings now. I mean, like
love it. It's the Avengers.
I'm designing the new Goods Diner together with this guy Handi, who's been helping us, gitu kan. Yeah.
Keep the burger.
Oh, of course. Apa ya? Cuman istilahnya we are being relevant at the same time. I think it's also because the mindset of the guys who are the founders is also we don't shy away from learning new things.
That I believe. Yeah. Itu pasti. Itu lo harus dengerin Gen Z, Gen Alphas, and everyone. I mean,
gue nanya ke anak gue kok.
Betul. Dan itu penting banget. I asked my brother, why do you go to Goods as well? Terus dia bilang, he always asks the same thing. Lo ada brand ini nggak? I forgot the brand. I'll let you know. Tapi they look forward, for brands that they can't only reach kalau nggak keluar negeri gitu. Mereka cuma bisa dapetin di situ. And we need to get that sense back again. Back in the day, I can only get Stussies there.
Discovery, right?
Yeah, and that's very important. Yeah. But, in all seriousness, I feel like if you would, not that I'm saying I can atau apa, cuman if you need some brainstorming help, like our Magna team and everything, we're really happy to help and help you out for that.
That's great. Thank you.
I mean, it's so sentimental, that place, not only for you guys as the founder, tapi as the early consumers, you know what I mean?
Wait for the party.
Oh fuck! I can't.
We're calling we're gonna be like calling all people gitu kan. It's gonna happen gitu kan.
Future 10 kan. Semua kesini ya.
Pokoknya jebret gitu kan. We're gonna celebrate this win. Fuck. You know, I mean, I think it's one of the key is that to know and we need this energy gitu kan from everybody. Knowing that we did the right thing, so it's also right thing for the scene, right thing for the industry. It needs it right now. It needs that energy again, man.
True. Well, it's what a year. What a start of the year. You lose some, but you win some. Goods.
Oh, who says I'm losing?
Leo, thanks for being on the show. Anything else you want to add?
No. Thank you.
Finally,
right?
Finally, after 7
when's
years.
Episode 7?
Oh, it's gonna come. Episode 2, 3, 4. You're gonna stay here for a while. Can't wait to talk to you again. Kalau gitu gue Yas Lawrence.
Saya Leo.
Kenapa lo tiba-tiba kayak kementerian? Saya Leo. Emang kayak gitu ya kebiasaan
gitu kan. Saya Leonardo Sabrata.
I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye guys.